Yeah, man, it's the 15th of March, 2024, and I want to talk about a couple of things that are going on. So, I guess I'm making my gang stalkers angry. And one of the things that they do when they get mad, or just in general, sometimes, especially a lot of times when I get in the shower, they do it. And I feel like it's because there's nothing I can do about it, maybe. Um, I'm not really sure what triggers that for them to do these attacks on me while I'm in the shower. But a lot of times when they get mad, they do this particular attack. And what the attack is right here. They'll put broadcast like saturated, penetrated all into my neck right there. And I can feel it like moving around. And it's like, I don't know if they're trying to cause like a hemorrhage or stroke or kill me, really, like attempted murder, or if it's just something to that hurts real bad, or if they're actually trying to cause like bone density loss in the jawline and the teeth area. And it's just something that they've been doing for quite some time. And tonight they had this fifth guy, like the fifth wheel. He's not always on with them, but when he comes on, he likes to do these whispering, sinister sounding voice settings that are supposed to be, I guess, intimidating or something. But he's always very violent. I mean, whatever he could do to try to hurt people, that's what this guy does with broadcast when he comes on. And he's the other four, like they're not violent enough, the normal guys, and then they bring this guy on, it's like super violent. I guess really he's probably like an abused person that never really got past it, and for whatever reason enjoys hurting people because he's so cowardly that he would never face anybody in reality. So he uses broadcast to get uh his little confidence boost or whatever it is that he's getting off trying to hurt people with broadcast. But they're constantly, man, tonight they've been putting this broadcast in my neck right here. And I was thinking about a few things, but first, I'll tell you this. One of the things, and I know it sounds ridiculous, it probably looks ridiculous, but I'll do it and I'll tell you anyway. But I have this little flashlight, very bright little flashlight, and I turn it on and I just do this. Okay. I also do this to my eye. Like I'll close my eye and put it up to the corner of my eye. I'll put it up to my knee or any other area where they're attacking me and it disrupts their broadcast. And yeah, they can put it right back as soon as you stop, but it does give you some temporary relief. And sometimes they don't put it back. And I have a theory about that. I think maybe if somebody puts a broadcast on you and then they could just leave, or go leave like they're really here or something. They could just go about their business and forget about it and just leave you suffering. And if you disrupt that broadcast and get it off of you, however, then they would actually have to come back on, connect to your neural monitoring with theirs, and actually place another broadcast on you. So I think maybe that's the reason that, or maybe it's just because of the publicity that it gets among gang stalkers. They're like, stop torturing him or something. I don't know. Maybe there's some that try to stand up for you against because I know all the people that have neural monitoring are not like evil gang stalkers that have personality issues and issues with their family past or whatever. And so they're abusive people. They're not all that way. Okay. There's anybody could get neural monitoring. All right, so I wish you guys would quit with the AI and the the federal agencies and all this stuff. Like a normal person can't get a hold of this technology when I know quite a few, and all these people that are doing gang stalking and street theater and all this dumb stuff. A lot of them are just drug addicts or immature people or people with psychological problems, really. And because if you got neural monitoring and you didn't have all of those psychological issues, you probably wouldn't use it to try to hurt people. Okay. A lot of people have neural monitoring, and it doesn't make them some sort of government official or some higher up. People like to talk about the higher ups. It's not higher ups. Okay. The people that I know for absolute certain that have neural monitoring, okay, some of them are drug addicts. None of them are anybody special. They're just like some people that I went to high school with and known since forever. For 20 years, I've known some of these people since I was a child. Um, and they get neural monitoring, become a gang stalker, and that's all she wrote. So Anyway, let me talk about some of this computer stuff for a minute. I'm sick of the broadcast in my neck. I feel like it's attempted murder. So that's the main thing that caused me to start this video. They always um, motivate me to continue to do more and more and more. It doesn't matter how many thousands of videos I have, I'll continue to talk about it. And guess what? New people all the time. The that's the channel. Okay. It doesn't go up very fast, but it goes up very consistently with 3 to 5 people every single day subscribe to this channel. And it just more and more people are having this happen to them. And that's why. So let me talk about a couple things with computers. One is I want to tell you one step you can use to try to start the process of taking back your internet so they'll quit administrating your internet service, and something you could just start learning about. So you could obviously go on your computer and click like, oh, well, connect to Wi-Fi or whatever. Okay, but we know how that goes. So one thing I want you to do, if you have your own service and you're at home and you have Wi-Fi and you have a router somewhere plugged into the cable or the phone or whatever it is that it's connected to that's giving you internet. Okay, I want you to look on the back of that router and find that IP address on the back of that router. And then I want you to go on your browser in the very top bar, uh, Chrome, okay, and type in HTTP : that IP address. And when you do that, it's going to bring up an interface, an online interface that you can go and control all of your settings for your service. You can filter MAC addresses. You can assign IP addresses. And I did a video about this like 4 or 5 years ago, probably, maybe 5 or 6 years ago. But it's something that I want to refresh on the channel. If you don't know that you can do that, you can do that. And that's where the real settings for your internet service are. And it shows you everything. Okay. And there's also in the back of that router, there's a little code. Okay. And that there's a password and there's also a code. And those two, that access code and that password, are also the things you'll need when you go into that interface to be able to get into the advanced settings. If you want to filter out MAC addresses and say only this device, it's media access control number. Okay, the MAC address. It's not a number. It's hexadecimal. So that every device has one. Okay, yes, gang stalkers can try to manipulate that, but this is giving you just to open the doorway. If you're a novice and you had no idea, this can open the doorway to let you start to control your own service. Okay, the theft of services is like one of the biggest things they do. You'll have 10 gang stalkers using your internet service and you can't even use it because they're denying you service. And that's theft. It's theft, and they should really go to jail for theft and have to pay you back restitution for all your years of internet service theft. It's one for one. That's one of the little things that should be added on to the many things that they should have to do to be accountable for what they do to us. So go on there and you can filter MAC addresses and only let certain devices on, and you can do a lot of things, okay? Because if you try to call the internet company and all that, they're going to say, oh, well, you checked your connection. Have you done? They just walk you through the basic little stuff, and they're never a help. I used to do that kind of stuff 4, 5, 6 years ago. For years, I did that kind of stuff, and it was a constant battle with them. And it used to take me 5 years ago. I would have 3 or 4 days worth of videos just lined up. My MacBook running full time, never actually loading the videos. It would take like 30 hours to load a video. And half the time it would just time out because they had my service administrated to that point where there's nothing I could do. And this is over like home Wi-Fi. That's plenty fast enough to upload a YouTube video. But they used to prohibit me from doing these kind of things. And I used to have to fight for every upload. All right, so moving on. Another thing, this will be the last thing for this video. There's something on MacBooks, and I think probably on any laptop or computer, where it's the console. Okay, so if you go like on your MacBook, if you go into applications, into the utilities folder, and then go to the console. All right, and you bring that up, and it's showing you what's happening on your computer. And if you're not doing anything, then there shouldn't be anything. It should be basically nothing happening. And as something happens, it would show that on the console log. All right. And you could choose like, you want to show everything, or just like things from this or that or whatever. Okay. But forever, as long as I can remember, since they started taking over my computers, and even to this day, right now, I could go on my console log and show you. Well, all I got to do is open up the MacBook. I could close every program, disconnect the Wi-Fi, and have nothing running on the computer. Open up that console log, and it goes bananas. And it's running shows all kinds of background programs and stuff like that going on. And I mean, literally like hundreds of thousands of, you can't even look at them because they're going so fast. So you have to stop it and then try to go through them. And it's a lot to try to wrap your head around if you don't know what's going on anyway. So I'm considering actually buying a new computer. I've had this MacBook forever, for the longest time. I buy them. They're expensive, I know, but I like them, and they're better for the most part than anything else you can get. And they last a long time because they're made well, and the components inside are very good. So I'm not trying to advocate for them or whatever. I'm just saying, like, it's not uncommon to be able to have a laptop for 5 or even 10 years if you buy a really good one. Okay, and when I say a really good one, my preference is the MacBook Pros. So I've had this one forever, like many, many years. And I'm thinking about buying another one. So when I do, they're very expensive. I'm going to go sit down with the Mac Genius or whatever at the Apple Store, and I'm going to order it. All right, and I'm going to show them what's happening on my console on my MacBook. And then I'm going to make it a very public ordeal, because I know that these gang stalkers, I've had computers that I've just reset them, I've restarted them, factory settings. I've tried to buy used computers, and like anytime I get a computer, as soon as I get it, they run their little program on it or whatever it is, so they can have that control remotely. And then it does that with the console, and it's not supposed to do that. So I'm going to probably make a little video series about how I go to the Mac store and the Apple store, I mean, and show you the display ones, how they don't do that, show you how mine does do that, and then get a new one and open it up right there with the Mac Pro Genius or whatever at the store, and see that it's not doing that, and then document that it's not doing that. And then as soon as it starts doing that, I'm going to run it back up there and have them go through the problems and do the whole process. And so it's going to be a thing where it's going to be a lot of videos probably where I'm going back and forth to the Mac store, to the Apple store, sorry, and letting them deal with my gang stalker problem. Because when you have the Apple Care and you're allowed to get technical support, and there's a problem with the equipment, which this is a problem with the equipment when they're doing that kind of stuff. So if you have a MacBook, go on your console. If you're being gang stalked, targeted, whatever, it's going to start bouncing off the 500,000 and something messages, because that's about the amount that can fit into the predetermined size limit of the console log. And then it'll just start deleting the old ones as new one comes in, and it'll take it about 5 minutes to get to 500,000 messages. That's the complexity of the programs that these gang stalkers are just running on my stuff all the time. And you know, it has a lot to do with, I think, their live streams and a lot of things, you know, but hopefully I'll get more and more to the bottom of it as time goes on. But I almost want them to do it again with a brand new one right from the store, brand new. It's not often you go to the store and buy an expensive new laptop. So I'm going to make the best of it and get all the details worked out, and I'm going to do it right there with them and see that it's not doing that on my console log, because it shouldn't. And as soon as it starts, it's going to be their problem. So my gang stalkers are going to be dealing with Apple having my expensive new laptop as their problem. And we'll document the whole thing of how they deal with it, and if these gang stalkers will stay off of my new MacBook. So it's probably going to be a week or 2 weeks before I actually do it. I'm doing a lot of research now, figure out exactly what I want, and then next week I have something coming up, and I'm going to work out the details. Anyway, so that's it for right now. I'm going to go ahead, and I've been working most of the night, and so I'm going to go ahead and try to get some sleep, and I'm sure I'm going to wake up with broadcasts all over my face and dried out and sleep deprived and feeling horrible and body just becoming mutilated from excessive broadcast torture. But um, I'm not going to lose. I'm not going to lose. If I fall over dead, I don't think I lost, because it's out there. It's out there, and I feel like I got a lot more to go. And the tables have already turned a long time ago, and they're not going to turn back in their favor again. So uh, you got to keep fighting, keep learning as much as you can, keep putting yourself in a better position. Always don't be in your comfort zone. Just always trying to strive for more and more. Uh, Learn the hard things. There's a lot of things. Look, real quick. There's a lot of things that I've started to learn in the past, and it was just very overwhelming. And with most things, like at some point, you get it, and then it starts to make sense, and then 2 or 3, 4 years later, you look back and you're like, you don't even understand why it was so hard before. But looking back, like, man, some of the things that I've learned were so difficult in my mind at the time, and then you come to a point where you've got it, and you can't hardly remember how it was ever so hard. But you got to keep trying and keep going, keep trying and keep going. Anyway, I'm gonna get some rest. Hope you guys are doing well out there. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the support for the channel, and I will see you again soon.